Do your waterfall photos look like this, but you'd rather them look more like this? In this video, I'm gonna go over 3 tips I use in my waterfall photography that will help immediately improve your waterfall photos. Also, make sure you stick around for tip number 3. It's probably the easiest tip of them all, but so many beginners and amateur photographers don't do it. And sometimes when you don't do it, it can really negatively impact the quality of your photo. Anyways, my name is Joe Valenti, and if you're new here, this channel is all about telling stories and help teach people to learn their way around a camera. I've been doing photography for about 10 years, and the 3 tips that I'm gonna go over in this video are really easy to implement, and it's going to drastically improve your waterfall photography as soon as you implement them too. So tip number 1, and this is probably the first thing you might learn or see when you're getting into photography, is doing a long exposure waterfall shot. So what that means is you're setting your exposure on your camera to be exposed to light for longer periods of time. That's gonna take waterfall photos that look like this and turn them into something that looks more like this. So of course, every camera is just a little bit different, but what you're gonna wanna do is set your camera into manual mode, and then you're gonna go into your camera settings and find where you can adjust exposure. Often it's going to be displayed as a fraction, like 1/160th of a second, but for what we're trying to achieve, that's way too fast. So as you can see right here, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that down to 1/4 of a second or even slower. And what that's going to do is create that creamy water effect that we're looking for. Now, because of that, you are going to be exposed to camera shakes, and hand holding a long exposure shot is near impossible to do correctly. To fix that, whenever you're shooting a long exposure waterfall, you're gonna wanna use a tripod. And the other thing that you might run into is if you're shooting long exposure, you're exposed to light more, and it might be just too bright. So purchasing a cheap ND filter or neutral density filter is going to do 2 things. It's gonna help you expose for longer times, as well as take away some of the glare from the water and make your waterfall photos look pretty crystal clear. And I know not everyone has a tripod. Sometimes I don't hike with a tripod, but there's been a lot of times where I've gotten away with just like balancing it on a rock and get a decent long exposure shot. Moving on to tip number 2, we're gonna talk about composition. Composition is extremely important when doing any type of photography, but specifically very important for landscape photography. But this is a beginner video, so we're gonna go with an easy principle here called the rule of thirds. If you haven't heard of the rule of thirds yet, it's basically just the screen broken up evenly in thirds. Now, where the horizontal or vertical lines are, or where they intersect, are very interesting points in any photo. Using those lines or intersecting points properly is going to help you create a much more compelling image. So as you can see right here, I have my camera set up looking at this waterfall. There's a couple interesting points on this waterfall. I like this one right here. So I'm gonna put the lower intersecting point centered on that part of the waterfall. And here's what that image looks like. Also, you don't have to use the intersecting points. Okay, and the third tip, it's a very easy, quick one, but so many people skip it. Like I said before, you have your composition set up, you have it set up for a long exposure. A tripod, when used properly, does eliminate most of the camera shake that would degrade your photo quality otherwise. But tip number 3 is going to fix that. We're gonna wanna use a timed shot. Again, all camera settings are different. Here's how my Sony works, but each camera should have the ability to set a timer for a shot. Once my composition is set up and I like what I'm looking at, I'm gonna go into the setting right here. Then I'm gonna select a 5-second time shot and then go ahead and click my shutter. After that, I'm gonna back away from my camera and let the camera do its thing. Now, what this is gonna help do is ensure that the tripod isn't shaking when taking the photo, because if shaking, even just slightly, when shooting in long exposures, it's going to make it just a bit more blurry, and it's just such an easy, quick tip to do. I would probably never skip it if you're doing waterfall photography. Anyways, I hope this video helped you out. If you're new to waterfall photography, I'd love to see your work. Please leave me a link down in my comments to how you've implemented these tips, because honestly, I really hoped that this video helped you out. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.